Yeah.
All right. Good morning, everyone. It's Friday morning, and we are not in the office, but we're at ICBC. This is Gateway Open Office Hours, episode 29, ICBC edition, or I Am Cannabis edition.
It's the I Am Cannabis edition and the crappy Stream from Carter's phone edition. I'm having angst about the technical setup here, Ben.
If you get tired of the shitty live video, you can come check out the real recording later when we post it, when we have actual broadband.
Yes.
Okay.
We're going to put it up on YouTube, and we have a podcast now, so it's on the podcast.
That's right.
Which I think you'd have to just search for Gateway Open Office Hours on iTunes or whatever, and you find it.
Sure. And we're going to be alternating the mic, which is totally awesome, so we're going to try to keep it short. But really today, was spawned based on this concept that popped in my head when I was giving my last talk at World's Fair. I had the opportunity to speak in front of my loved ones, my mom, my dad, my in-laws, my wife, and after a 20-minute talk, they were like, we learned so much in the last 20 minutes. And I could only help but think to myself, like, A, what do you think I've been doing for the last couple of years? And B, it's just like, there's even people that you think know still have no idea what the cannabis industry is about and who represents it. You know, they don't realize that people walking down the street look just the same as any other industry, that we're positive contributors to society, that we're doing great things. And so I want to dedicate this episode to the people that are making up the cannabis industry today and kind of what we stand for.
Yeah, the only thing I want to add there is, when you and I started Gateway, we named it Gateway for a reason. Right, we viewed what we were doing as a gateway between mainstream activities in the cannabis industry, and our long-term goal is to pull cannabis into the light of the mainstream and make it an acceptable, okay, normal part of society. And I think your campaign that you're about to talk about really fits perfectly well with that, and which is why I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, so I mean, let me just read it to you, okay? So we've prepared what I might call a manifesto. Hashtag I Am Cannabis. We're
Canifesto.
It's a oh gosh, Canifesto. Okay. I cannot be defined by a false stigma. I'm not a pothead. I'm a professional. I'm not lazy. I am driven. I'm a change agent. I stand for what I believe. I know cannabis can change the world. It is changing the world. I am changing the world. I educate, I hustle, I create, I get shit done. I'm your friend, I'm your family, I'm a role model. I'm a part of a community that grows stronger every day. I'm a movement, I am an industry, I am inevitable. Cannabis does not define me. I'm a part of its definition. I am cannabis. What this means to me is it's flipping the conversation, right? Everyone has a preconceived notion of what cannabis is. Oftentimes it's stigmatized. It's the pothead, hippies, lazy stoners, far left wing. People drop cannabis into a bucket. But this industry is very diverse now, and it's growing exponentially every day. We have right wing, we have left wing, we have capitalists, we have hippies still, yoga. It's like, it is everything. And I think that's the important part. We know people who've come from Ernst & Young, Jawbone, SpaceX. Like, these are mainstream people representing, this growing industry.
Yeah, no, I just want to say one of the things that I really like about it, and we're going to bring some of our founders on as examples here, but would like to encourage anyone in the industry, to really speak up and tell the community around you, like, you are cannabis. Whoever you are, whatever your belief systems are, whatever your way of working is, whatever your part of the industry you're in, whether you're a banker who's banking cannabis, or whether you're growing or doing anything in between, you are cannabis. And cannabis is not a stigmatized, shouldn't be a stigmatized, cordoned off section of society. It should just be part of society like any other plant, frankly, is.
And I think the important thing here is, like, we're at ICBC right now. It's a professional conference. I'm probably the least professional one here because I'm just wearing my t-shirt. But like,
Usually I'm the least professional one.
sure, sure. Um, yeah, I think people would legitimately be surprised to see the professionalism that is exuded at these conferences. You know, we were talking about Vegas not too long ago when 10,000 people congregated to represent the industry. It was really exciting. Okay, so I don't want to ramble on too long.
Let's celebrate the diversity of founders and people in the cannabis industry, diversity of backgrounds, ideas, everything else, and let's bring a couple of the founders on that we've got. I'll grab them. You entertain people.
Well, no, I think Chris is right here, so he's just going to take my spot.
Oh, he's gonna take your spot.
Yeah, so I can adjust the camera.
Yeah, Chris, you're going to need the camera adjusted because I'm really short, Carter, and you're really tall, Chris. So,
It's true.
we can fit in the same frame in some way. Ben's going to fix it.
All through high school, my head was always cut off in all the videos.
So, Chris, tell us who you are, what your background is, and then maybe introduce what you're doing at Somatic. And you can hold the mic.
Sure. Yeah. My name's Chris. I founded a company called Somatic. My background's actually in marketing. First, I worked at most recently Jawbone. It's a nice Silicon Valley darling, and then before that, I was at Rickshaw, which was a nice local bag manufacturer. And I'm a cannabis user, and I felt like there just weren't enough options for cannabis to be really accessible for people and to kind of normalize their use or ritual around it. I want people to have kind of a little bit of a cannabis coming out party. So I actually partnered with another local brand, Ritual Coffee, and we made a really cool cold brew. So it's a cannabis-infused cold brew. And
we'll hold it up. Let me hold it up I'll hold it up to the Facebook camera where it will be backwards. Thank you, Zuckerberg. And the regular camera where it will look like a normal readable label.
Actually, it's focused on you, so.
Oh, it is? All right, whatever.
So the idea around it is really about, I think, celebrating the culture around coffee and the culture around cannabis, but putting it together in a new way that people can really celebrate and enjoy, I think, more openly. And as more people come in the market, I think they want new ways to enjoy cannabis that doesn't have some of the negative cultural stigmas, but I think this has all of the best cultural stigmas kind of wrapped in, and that mix of coffee and cannabis and those two really passionate communities are really what drove me to create a product like this.
What I really love, one of the things I really love about it is, truth be told, caffeine is a drug.
Yeah.
Right? Caffeine is something that people use. Oh, Mike. Caffeine is something that people use to help them get through their day, but it's also the most normalized drug possible, I think, in our society. It's just there's no stigma around coffee.
Yeah.
In fact, there's worship around coffee and appreciation for coffee. And so I love that you're taking that culture and merging it with the culture of cannabis, and I think doing the same thing for cannabis, which is removing the stigma and making it a normal part of someone's daily life.
Yeah, and I think there are people in the coffee industry who love coffee and know everything about it and might not yet realize that exists in the cannabis industry. I know the cannabis people have long known the pleasure of mixing coffee and cannabis, but I'm really excited about it, and I'm really excited just to see more people come in the industry who want to take some of the best practices from Silicon Valley, but apply them to the culture that exists in cannabis and really understand that, we're here because of activists and because of a community of people that came before us. And this is an exciting time, but, let's do it in a way that really celebrates the history of it as well.
Absolutely. Can you tell us a little bit about the thought process behind this? Because this is one of my favorite features, and I know people can't see it, but he'll talk about it in a moment. And I will, Chris won't say this himself, but it is phenomenal tasting. It's actually, I gave it to someone the other day who is not a normal cannabis consumer at all. And she intentionally strained to try and, she just was like, I really want to taste the cannabis.
Yeah.
She couldn't taste any cannabis in it, just great coffee. And she was like, this is awesome.
Great.
So tell us a little bit about this thing and kind of the, what you're trying to do here with Somatic.
Well, I think, first to go back to the taste, one of the really cool things is I actually got to work with the Ritual team. I'd go down there every week. We do taste tests, we do blind tests, we did a lot of formulation work to pick just the right bean to complement that infusion. And then we did a lot of work on the infusion side to minimize the taste of cannabis, so it was a really approachable, kind of delicious drink that you would just want to drink. But I think my favorite thing is people tell me, I don't even like coffee and I like this, and it kind of made my day a little better. And, this is my first time starting a company, and that was the most exciting moment so far, was when someone just looked and said, you made my day better. Thank you.
Yeah.
because they weren't using cannabis in a way that fit into their daily life before, and now they can just take a little sip and see how it helps them. So on the packaging, we tried to be really, lighthearted and fun. And I think the idea is that, everybody's different. I've been using cannabis for years, and, I'm a very low dose person. And this kind of is just a playful way to help people kind of find what their dose is. So you have things like...
So tell people, so at the top here it says find your dose, and then there's marker lines. Right?
Yeah, so this is a 15 milligram bottle, 8 ounces, and each marker line is roughly 5 milligrams. So it's an easy way for people to understand how much is in it, but it's fun. It's the first line's buzzed but focused, the second line practically perfect, the third inclined to giggle. And the idea is that it's different for everybody, so you can fill in the blanks for what those lines mean for you, but just encouraging people to play around with it until they find something that really works for them, and makes their day better too.
Yeah, it's a brilliant product. Where is it available?
So right now we're at Harvest, both locations in San Francisco, Magnolia, and we have a handful of online deliveries coming in the next week. As you know, cannabis still has to travel, by car so far. So we're starting with the Bay Area, focusing on that, and then we'll go to Southern California pretty soon.
Awesome. Ben has a question to ask off camera.
So, bringing it back to I Am Cannabis, what got you into cannabis? What was it that drew you in and opened your eyes to what the industry was beyond the stigma?
Yeah, Ben's a much better interviewer. I should have asked that question. Great question.
Yeah, I think the thing that made me really passionate about it was really seeing, so I live in my head a lot, and for seeing someone like me, cannabis helps create a nice balance between my mind and my body. I had a really severe physical injury, and it helped a lot with my physical therapy when I would take a little cannabis, really understand what was happening in my body, but still be really aware enough to kind of catalog those answers. And yeah, and that's what the name is inspired by. Somatic is kind of the balance between your mind and body, and I think with the right dose of cannabis and caffeine, people can find that. So
awesome.
Well, thank you guys.
Thank you, Chris. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you good luck because I know already that you don't need it. Okay, next, Ben, do you want to interview JP?
No, that's good.
All right, JP, come here. Darwin's going to feel left out. Darwin, would you like to come over here too? Just sit on JP's lap. We got room.
We're all a friendly bunch here.
Yeah, no, seriously, sit on his lap. Well, not his lap, but sit. Come here. All right.
Bring it in.
We're gonna squish in. I don't know if I'm visible on Facebook. I'm actually my visibility is less important than yours. So, guys, JP, Darwin, tell us what your backgrounds are and how you got into cannabis at all, and then please tell us what the hell you're doing.
Great.
And you each need to pass the mic along because, yeah, we're ghetto.
Got it.
Okay.
Okay, great. Am I talking to you? Yeah.
Whatever.
Great.
Ben, yell at Ben. Actually, that
Ben. Okay, great. Yeah. So my name is JP Martin, co-founder and CEO of GrowX. My background's actually in software development, so most notably at Elon Musk's private rocket company, SpaceX, where I worked on their proprietary ERP system. We are working on an automated aeroponic system using AI in the cloud to figure out the most efficient way to grow plants, not just cannabis, but really any sort of plant, with about 98% less water than soil and 50% less water than hydroponics, and about 2 to 3x the growth rate over soil and about 50% higher with hydroponics. And our system's designed to be bulletproof and reliable, utilizing our software automation platform to make it as easy as possible for growers to produce, or for farmers rather, to produce the most with the least amount of resources. I'll pass it along to my co-founder.
Wait. That was a great pitch. How did JP get into cannabis himself?
Right, so I've been a cannabis enthusiast since high school, actually. Managed to, still graduate from college with good grades and get a good job while being a cannabis user. And about 4 years ago, I was dating someone that was using cannabis for medicinal purposes, and I was spending a lot of money buying it, and so I decided that maybe I would start growing it myself, and through my own kind of processes realized how resource intensive it was to grow at home and really to grow indoors in general, and we started looking at ways to solve problems specifically for that, but also that apply to other crops in general. I'll pass it on to Darwin to talk a little bit about himself.
Yeah, please.
My name's Darwin Hunt. I'm one of the co-founders of GrowX, and how I got into the cannabis industry.
Yeah, where do you come from?
Where do I come from? I come from Chicago. I come from the Midwest originally, but my background's in finance. I worked on Wall Street and then was a sales trader for what's called a single-family office. I got into cannabis by co-founding this company with JP, and it's something that I hadn't used personally since high school, but now getting into the industry as the industry is becoming legal, it's a fascinating space as the industry changes from this illicit black market to this more general mainstream thing, and it's been a fun ride so far.
Awesome. Ben, what other questions should I be asking that I'm not not asking?
What did they learn about the industry? What excites them about the industry?
There we go. Okay, see, Ben should be sitting here. Actually, I'll direct this at you, Darwin, because you're, JP had a little bit more experience with the plant, shall we say, than you did coming in. What have you learned about the industry so far, and what excites you about it?
Quite a bit. It's hard to synthesize it down into one soundbite, but I would say that the industry today, and even in the past 2 years that I've been in it, has changed. The industry for the past 2 years has changed dramatically since I've been in it, and it seems like there's new players that are entering, there's old players that are adapting to new trends and new ways of doing things. And one of the other things that's really interesting and exciting about it for me, coming from finance, which is typically a very siloed and hard to break in type of world, especially in the Wall Street world, it's a very easy, accepting business segment where it's easy to network, it's easy to meet people, people are receptive to new conversations, and that's really exciting and fun to be in an industry that's like that as an entrepreneur.
Awesome. JP, what have you learned and what excites you about cannabis?
So for me, the fact that cannabis is finally legal in one of the world's sixth largest economy really represents a break from past trends. The ability that people are starting to recognize the medicinal value of this particular plant is really, I think, the beginning of kind of a new awakening in terms of personal health and social responsibility. That this plant kind of serves as the entry point into the Western culture's broader acceptance of natural plant-based medicines, which I think is going to have ramifications worldwide.
Awesome. What advice would you give to a founder starting out in the industry?
I would say that you want to get out there and do your homework. Take advantage of the multitude of networking opportunities out there. Go on Meetup. Try and meet other founders that are in the industry. Be social. And, look at what's going on. Don't think that you need to reinvent the wheel to enter this space. Look at other industries. There are opportunities in this space that are low-hanging fruit by just taking something that works in a different industry and applying it to cannabis because it is so new.
Spoken by one of the few founders who's not doing that at all, but doing something brand new. All right, cool. Anything else, Ben, that I should be asking, or are we done?
Just go back to the two of us and wrap it up.
All right. Thank you guys very much. We'll talk to you later. Ben, come back over here. Here, I'll put this camera back if you want.
All right, we're going full man.
All right.
All right, everyone. Let's just wrap it up. Come see us. We're at ICBC. We have free T-shirts that you can look sexy in and represent the industry.
A lounge to hang out in when you get tired of walking around.
Beautiful lounge, startups. It's awesome.
Might be some products.
Yep.
You never know.
Hit me up on social media or come by the office and we'll get you a T-shirt. Yes, let's spread the word. Hashtag iamcannabis. Get the word out.
We'll see you next week at 10 a.m. We will be back in the office. No idea what we're talking about, but back doing open office hours at 10 a.m. next Friday. Thanks, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Peace.